Welcome to Rewired for Love. I am your host, JaCarie Owens, licensed mental health counselor, EMDR basic training coach and consultant, group practice owner and supervisor at Courageous Minds Counseling, relational trauma expert, and the most important one, your honest but loving homegirl therapist who's not afraid to talk about the messy parts of healing. Around here, we talk about all things nobody taught us growing up, how our attachment styles show up in love, why our nervous system acts like a fool sometimes, and what it really takes to feel safe in our bodies. So this is not about perfection. It's about learning to love yourself in real time with grace, boundaries, and a little bit of humor. So take a deep breath. Get comfy, because we don't chase chaos, we choose calm. And this is Rewired for Love. Hey y'all, welcome back to Rewired for Love. Today we're going to talk about something that sits at the center of every relationship you've ever had. But for most of us, we were actually never taught how to build it. And that's emotional safety. We're going to get into three big questions when it comes to emotional safety. What is emotional safety and what does it actually mean beyond the buzzword? How unsafe dynamics form, especially when you've grown up in survival mode? And how to recognize real safety in relationships, not just familiarity or chemistry, but actually really truly sitting with it, owning it, and loving in it. If you are a Black or brown woman, man, or non-binary person who's always been the strong one, the caretaker, the I'm good one, this episode is especially for you. Because many of us learned how to endure relationships, not how to feel safe inside of them. So get prepared for this one. Get comfy, get your blankie, take a deep breath, relax your shoulders. And let's talk about safety in a way that maybe no one has ever done with you before. So let's start with a clear definition, because a lot of people confuse comfort, familiarity, and lack of conflict with emotional safety. And that's not the same thing. Emotional safety at its core is this. Emotional safety is the felt sense that you can bring your full self, your thoughts, your feelings, your needs, and your truths into a relationship without feeling fear of emotional punishment, humiliation, or abandonment. What it does not mean, it doesn't mean that we never argue, that we agree on everything, that we never hurt each other's feelings, because those things happen. That's not realistic. But instead, emotional safety looks like you can say things like, that hurt my feelings, and not be mocked or dismissed. You can say things like, I need a minute, and not be punished with silent treatment. You can also say things like, this triggered me, and the other person gets curious instead of defensive. You can be honest about your needs without immediately worrying that someone's going to leave you. From a relational trauma lens, emotional safety is the antidote to early experiences where emotions were dangerous. We're speaking up, crying, having a need, or even setting boundaries came with consequences. For Black and brown folks, many of us were raised in families and systems where survival came before emotional processing, and not embarrassing the family came before authenticity, where don't talk back mattered more than tell me more about how you feel, help me to understand, where be strong was the rule and not be supported. So emotional safety wasn't modeled as tell me what's going on the inside, I can handle it. It was often modeled as keep it together. Stop crying before I give you something to cry about. Don't tell our business to them people. And even as you hear me say that out loud, what do you notice about your nervous system as you sit with those words, as you sit with those family messaging? What we know to be true is that your nervous system learned that feelings equal risk, that your needs are actually inconvenience, and that your truth can be dangerous. And now, as an adult, emotional safety might feel unfamiliar or even very suspicious. Like you think people have ulterior motives because you feel those things. So if you've ever been in a relationship where someone was kind and your body didn't know what to do with it, this was not you being ungrateful. It was your nervous system saying things like, we don't recognize this yet. What is happening? What they want from me? Because that always came with compassion and kindness. So when we're thinking about emotional safety starts with this one question. Can I be real here and still be held, respected, and seen? If the answer is consistently no, your system will adapt with coping mechanisms that we will talk about next. So, really, how unsafe dynamics are formed. In order for us to really understand emotional safety, we have to know where it came from. I like to always say our past is always present. So, in order to know how we're showing up today, we have to go back a little bit to the past. Because the reality of it is, unsafe dynamics don't just come out of nowhere. They are patterns, usually built long before the current relationship, usually in early childhood, early childhood, let's say sometimes 0 to 6. That's when we need our parents, our caregivers the most. And that is where we learn negative beliefs about ourselves and how we view the world. So, with that being said, we're going to look at this through relational trauma and parts work. So, I want you to hold these couple of things. Number one, early environments teach your body what to expect. If you grew up in a home where people yelled but never repaired, if love came with criticism, shame, and comparison, if your affection was inconsistent, meaning it was warm 1 minute and cold the next, and if you had adults that were stressed, unavailable, or even emotionally immature, your nervous system learned this is what love feels like, not logically, somatically in your body. So later, when you are in a relationship and you feel that same intensity, unpredictability, or walking on eggshell type of energy, there's a part of you that goes, yeah, that feels familiar. I know what to expect. I know how to navigate this. And the reality of it is, it's not because it's good. It's just because it's familiar pain. Number two, parts step in to protect you. Now let's add parts work to this. When you grow up in an emotionally unsafe environment, different parts of you step in to help you survive. For an example, an anxious part might become hypervigilant, checking tone, body language, trying to read the room, text messages, and reading between every single line to stay safe. Or an avoidant part might learn to disconnect. They may hold the belief of, I don't need anyone, or the belief of don't share too much. Also may stay in control by staying distant. Or that people pleaser part. That part might say, if I keep everyone happy, they won't turn on me. I won't be alone or afraid. And then there's that angry part or that shutdown part that might step in when you feel cornered. And it may say something like, if I blow up or shut down, at least I'm not vulnerable. So as you can see, these parts are not trying to ruin your relationships. They're trying to keep you safe based on what they learned long ago and trying to prevent any harm, whether emotionally, physically, psychological harm that could be done to you by any means necessary. Number three, I want you to hold on to the fact that unsafe dynamics in adult relationships is when two people both carry unhealed relational trauma and unled parts. So you'll often see patterns like one person chasing and one person pulling, or you'll see one person over explaining and the other person shutting down. The arguments that quickly escalate and never fully repair. Or you may see apologies without behavioral change. And when boundaries are in place, boundaries being taken as disrespect or rejection. And more specifically, if you are a Black or brown woman, you may also see that you're becoming the emotional therapist, the mother, or the fixer in every single relationship, or that your needs are getting minimized because you're too strong or you got this, because we all know that the strong person never gets checked in on. Or you may notice that you're being too loyal in relationships that are emotionally unsafe because leaving feels like betrayal or abandoning the family or the community. But these dynamics are not evidence that you're broken or that you're too much. They're evidence that your system has been trying to survive without emotional safety for a very long time. I think the beautiful part in this is that anything that we learn can be relearned, including what safety feels like. So now that we know where it comes from, how do we recognize safety in relationships? Let's talk about that. What does it actually look like and feel like so you can begin to recognize it and start to move towards it and not run from it? So this is where your self-energy, your calm, compassionate, grounded inner leader gets to start to re-educating your parts on what safety really is. And the first thing to hold on to is that safety is not the absence of conflict. It's the presence of repair. So in safe relationships, please know that you can disagree without it turning into character assassination. That someone can say, I don't like that, and it doesn't become, you're a terrible person. Or when harm happens, because it will, that's inevitable. There is a genuine accountability and repair, not gaslighting or blame shifting. But I want to say this out loud, that even when you feel these things, please know that your anxious part may still get activated. Your avoidant part may still want to run because it's unfamiliar. It's icky. It does not feel familiar. But I want you to know that over time, your system learns that we can come back from this. And that conflict doesn't automatically mean I'm about to be abandoned or attacked. Holding on to the belief that safety feels like consistency more than intensity. Because emotionally safe people tend to show up in ways that match their words. What does that look like, you say? You know it when they call, when they say they will. Most of the time, because life be life and things come up. But if they can't, they communicate that. Their affection and their care don't disappear when you set a boundary or have a need. Consistency gives your nervous system time to relax. And yeah, at first, that steady will feel boring, especially if you're used to chaos. That's not a sign that something is wrong. So I want to say that out loud. That's a sign that you're detoxing from relational adrenaline. Because safety honors your nervous system, not just your image. And in safe relationships, you can say things like, I feel overwhelmed. Can we slow down? In this moment, I just need reassurance right now. I'm triggered and I don't want to take it out on you. Can we pause, please? And the responses are curious, they're caring, and the willingness and the ability for someone to adjust. What it's not words like you're too sensitive, or here we go again, or that you're doing too much. And for Black and brown folks especially, emotional safety means that you don't have to perform strength to be respected, that you don't have to swallow your truth to keep the peace, and that your vulnerability isn't weaponized against you later. The safety inside of you is the foundation to secure and safety within your relationships. And lastly, emotional safety is not just out there in them streets. It starts inside. You create internal safety. You create internal safety when yourself can notice an activated part. It is you leading into curiosity, asking, I am noticing that I am spiraling right now, that I feel triggered for some reason, and being able to explore what that is and where it's coming from. And then when you notice that part, it's you also responding with compassion, not shame. It is you giving yourself permission to feel what you feel without judgment. And And it's also you talking to those parts like it's your younger, most vulnerable self, and potentially saying things like, I get why you're afraid, but I'm here with you. The safer it becomes inside, the easier it will be to recognize those red flags early, to receive the green flags without sabotaging them, and to also walk away from those emotionally unsafe environments a whole lot sooner than what you have given yourself permission to before. That was some stuff. That was a whole lot of information, a whole lot of don't get me together, hold my hand, sis information, especially if you related to that within your relationships and not having or having emotional security. So let's do a quick internal check-in together. If it is safe, close your eyes or soften your gaze. Take a slow, deep breath in and out. And I want you to gently ask yourself, what did emotional safety look like or not look like in my childhood? And I just want you to notice what memories, images, or sensations that may come up. Then I want you to ask yourself, what parts of me show up when I feel unsafe in relationships? Maybe it's the overthinking part, the shutdown part, or the angry part, or even that joking it off is not that bad part. Whatever it is, just notice that part. Now I want you to ask, what does my body feel like when I am safe with someone? Maybe your shoulders drop, your breathing slows, maybe your stomach unclenches. I just want to remind you that you don't have to fix anything. Just noticing is the first step in rewiring your sense of safety. And now I want you to take one more deep breath and gently come back. So I want, now that we have noticed some things, I want us to just go ahead and land this. And I want to leave you with this. Emotional safety is not a luxury. It's not extra. It's not something other people get and you have to power through without it. It is a basic relational need, especially for those of us that grew up in systems that prioritize survival over softness. You are allowed to have relationships where your nervous system can rest. You are allowed to re-educate your body on what love feels like and just being in secure love. So let's end with a few affirmations. And I just want you to say them out loud or write them down to ponder on later. But I just want you to allow them to settle inside. I am learning what safety feels like, one moment at a time. My feelings and needs are worthy of respect. I am allowed to outgrow relationships that are not emotionally safe. I can honor the parts of me that learn to survive and to still move forward with secure love. And I deserve relationships where I can exhale. Thank you for joining me for this episode of Rewired for Love. If this conversation helped you put language to your experiences, share it with another Black or brown person who has been in survival mode for too long and deserves to know that it's not too much to want emotional safety. It's necessary. Until next time, be gentle with your nervous system. Listen to your parts. And remember, you were never asking for too much. You were asking for what you should have had all along. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Rewired for Love. If today's conversation resonated with you, Share with someone you care about, or take a moment to leave a review. Your feedback helps this community to grow and keeps these healing conversations flowing. You can also follow me and come hang out with me on all socials: YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, all of them at Rewired for Love Podcast. Go there to get your daily doses of healing, honesty, and a whole lot of love. Until next time, keep listening to your body, lead with compassion, and remember, you are safe enough to love and be loved.